And then, of course, Mum and Dad got into drink from there, and they sort of went downhill. He had two brothers, but one died when he was two, and he had a brother called Joe.
This is comedy. Booyah! Let's have a fucking laugh, spend a little time together. Back like I never left. Something perfectly clear. If the podcast were succeeding beyond my expectations, a motherfucker might be inclined to, I don't know, give it a real fair chance. And I'm not giving up. It's not like that. Don't let me start the episode with this low energy bullshit where I sound like I'm in a bad mood and, it's going to be an hour complaining. No, really, I'm not here for all that. Ideally, this podcast, I think you guys remember me talking about it in the beginning. This was supposed to be a way for me to vent. Just an hour of getting the poison out. And it doesn't need to pull in thousands of views, but the cool part about what I've done in the past versus what I've done now, I do still see the people that trickle in, my subscriber count going up. Eventually I will hit 1K. It's not a question of if, I will. With little to no promotion, I really just send out a tweet. Barely anybody sees that. It's not like X is set up in a way that there's this global feed everybody gets to check. It's not actually that inventive. The closest we had to something like that before it really went down a dark path, the old school 4chan days. Motherfucker could go on one of the boards like random. It's called B. Most people know that. You just go on there and you could refresh every second and it would be a completely new look, meaning whoever viewed at that time, you were, for lack of better deep phrasing, you were in that timeline of information, of reactions to it. It wasn't just one strand that everybody followed, which you see now when you go to, I get that there's an algorithm that curates certain things to you and blah, 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 but that's not what I'm really talking about. There is I don't want to call it an agenda, that's too conspiratorial, but there is this kind of general constant that gets pushed, right? And it has nothing to do with trying to determine the outcome of your thoughts, but in a controlled environment, it means that all of your outcomes that are possible, because they're already known, they're set up in a way for you to be able to experience this, and it's no threat to what's been constructed around you. If that's not too crazy of a point to try and paint out, because, again, a lot of the times when people are doing the experiments with mice and mazes, the mice don't have this cognizance. Maybe they do, but they don't express it in a way that compromises their safety. Because if every animal wasn't domesticated, as the word is, to a certain extent, and you couldn't house train them or get them to be obedient or whatever, I mean, you'd never be able to do these tests where mice can perform these tricks and you test their time and, weigh it against certain things. It just wouldn't be possible. Imagine if they just decided to not do that shit, but, little rat rebellion. There's gonna be one that kicks open the door and no more cheese. They're switching to a different kind of delicacy. But they don't have the same cognizance around them. And again, if they do, they hide it. Meaning they don't expose that they understand what's happening around them. And as long as they play along, they'll maintain the life that they have. And I'm sure, let's just pretend that maybe creatures do have that deeper thought process. If that is a thing, then I'm sure there's creatures in that universe enjoying that and others that hate it. You see it every time when you go to zoos. There's some animals that are miserable in that environment. And then some, there's the gorilla that comes out and beats on his chest because he likes the reaction from the crowd. He doesn't do it because he knows it's going to accomplish something. And you don't think by the 1000th time of doing that, he'd be defeated and know it doesn't mean anything. So maybe there is more to it than that. Maybe there is some ego. Because that does... showboating, that's a real thing that happens out there when it comes to courting in the animal kingdom. You see it with peacocks and shit like that. That's why we have the term peacocking, because motherfuckers go out there and be trying to woo. But I digress. They only perform in this realm because they don't see that outside of the maze, they really don't have any options. If they were to just not try to get outside of that maze and not comply, what then? What's your next step? And if you don't have the capacity to think that far ahead, then you're probably just going to fit and stay into the maze, even if you feel an angst or an anxiety that something isn't right somewhere. Unfortunately for you, it's still going to be this thing where you're like, well, I guess I'm just going to get closer to the cheese and take it. And there's a lot of people that settle for that shit. They are perfectly content with their lot in life. Wake up, shower, brush your teeth, take a shit maybe, eat, go to work for a couple of hours, say hello to some people, do your work, come home, watch some shit on TV, maybe get blown if you got a partner, and then do it all over again, right? And I get that, maybe because, right, life at the end of the day, it's not this, I'm not trying to take anything away from it, because maybe there is a grand design behind all of this that we don't understand, but for me, it doesn't seem like you're forced to do anything because there isn't this extravagantness. We used to be taunted with the idea of heaven, and that's why you should live worthy, because a worthy and noble life means that you will go to this place of succession that is reserved for people who think outside of themselves and for others and don't have these dark thoughts that unfortunately do live within all of us. We've learned that a lot of these things were either taught to us wrong or misinterpreted, where of course all of us have a darkness in us, or a sadness or a pain, and it's how we choose to come back from that. That's what really matters at the end of the day. I mean, you gotta think, there's some shit out there that you really can't walk back, unfortunately. And there's expressions of that all the time. I mean, I can talk about things that I don't have any connection to all day long, but at the end of the day, I try to spend more time focusing on shit that's in my immediate day-to-day life. Because everybody's a spectator, right? Everybody's got this idea, now that we're in the phone generation, that, hey, you just whip it out, press record, let's see what we can get to happen, whether it's these prank videos or motherfuckers just making something out of nothing. And it's a shame to see. I don't know how sustainable it is, or if there's going to be a change at some point where, I mean, I don't think you can just decide for the entire human species that we're not going to have phones anymore. Phones are banned. Imagine a law if it was like you can't use your cell phone out in public. Imagine if it was just a household device. That would change so much in life. No more taking it to work. No more this, no more that. And they come up with some rule. They're like, no, it's just the radiation levels are too fucking high. You're giving babies brain cancer. So you can't do it no more. I don't know. They just figure it out. What a difference that makes in fucking life, because maybe people figure out a way to, you go back to cassette players or CD players, Walkmans, all that shit. But maybe, just maybe, it frees up a little bit of that tension in life, and people start interacting with each other a little more instead of being awkward. And that is a little idealist, I'll admit, because I see all the crazy motherfuckers that get captured on video in trains doing insane shit, and there is that element of darkness. It's nice to be able to protect yourself and not fall victim to these things that, who wants to go and that's the end? Just because you were trying to do something simple, like maybe go to work or come home from work, maybe, long day, and now that's your last day? No, that's not right. But there's people taking that risk every fucking day. And you can't let the exceptions define the rule. That's what's important to me. A couple of fucking insane people, and then everybody else is supposed to just change their life because of the irresponsibility that gets misplaced. This is going to hit a soft spot for anybody who's been in this position, but I'm not really the guy who, if you're walking down a road, I get there's drunk drivers and shit, right? But we create all these laws for things where it's either bad parenting or lack of awareness. Whenever I've been walking down a road, I promise you I'm not hugging the fucking line thinking that people are just going to give... I am paying attention. I don't want anything to do with an accident happening. Don't even get me started on if people who don't like you see you and then they want to hurt you, right? But these are all things that I don't want to say are easily avoidable, but if you don't go out of your way overtly to make enemies, more than likely you're probably going to be safe when you go down most streets. Now, we all know there's certain places you shouldn't go, especially at certain times, and there's certain things you shouldn't do in certain areas, and I can expand on this point. I would be an idiot to go to a place like 7 Mile and Evergreen, and if you have no clue where in the fuck a place like that is, let me tell you, it's not even that deep into Detroit, okay? It's not even that deep. It's a little past Telegraph as you're going down 7.
Right here on the dance floor, the rhythm song.
You don't want to be down there in a brand new car, rocking all this pretty ice and Gucci this and Versace that. Oh no, you don't want to do that. And think that you're not gonna get checked, or you think that it's okay for you to go here in this place that's devastated, and you're just flashing on them. What the fuck is that kind of shit? Why would you want to flash on those people? and I'm not talking down on people from my own state, because you don't understand. I got nothing but love for Detroit. That's my city. I love that place. A lot of good restaurants down there, like Slows, for example. Hell of a restaurant. Go to Slows if you want some good barbecue. But you're going to these places where people don't have it easy. And just throwing your weight around in a way that's inappropriate. And that's going to cause problems for you. Nobody's going to feel bad for you either. It happens to people who do less and possess less. I don't know how else to explain it. If you don't believe me on that, yeah, you can be in the wrong place at the wrong time and get fucked up. You can get Liam Neeson. You can get taken. It will happen. It's not a question of if. It will happen. So don't test this theory. Don't think you can go to Chicago and go to a random park. You're not going to pull up and be some kind of Santa Claus and everybody wants to bask in your kindness. It doesn't work like that. There's levels to this shit. And it's not that people don't want help sometimes, but at the end of the day, there is a little something else I'm learning, and it's called culture. Denzel's got a great fucking speech about that. When he gets questioned about why he had a black director on the film, like why that was necessary. And with, really it was beautiful, expanded on, it's not color, it's culture. That sometimes Italians are gonna know themselves better, and that Scorsese could have directed a movie that I'm forgetting the other guy, but you get what I'm saying. That you could have had different directors take control of these movies, and it probably would have worked. But then he goes on to say, like, but we know what it smells like when that hot pick hits your hair in the morning. That's culture. And I respected the fuck out of that, because there's nothing that he's saying there that's even wrong. It's just, you won't know that because it's not something you live. You can't emulate that, and it could get lost in translation, where I don't know if you think this is how life should work, but I'm one of those people that if you're a white woman, you should not be speaking on behalf of, the lives of really any color, but whether it's black people but that is not your flag to carry. And I'm not saying that it's not good to support that endeavor, right? Everybody should be loved and equal, but you're actually doing more hurt and marginalizing people. It's like this secret, covert type of racism almost. That's not to say it's intentional, right? But it could be interpreted that way. You gotta teach a man to fish, not catch a man to fish. And there's a lot of catchers in the rye out there. I don't think it's right or appropriate. Who said you're the best qualified for that? Who put you in charge? Now, I understand if you're trying to work with people who don't have the vision and can't get to the next step, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of endeavors in life that you can probably undertake. Stick to what you know, stay in your lane. If you ever get called for something, that's different though. That's when you can step up to the plate. Sort of a white men can't jump situation. That's where it's acceptable to kind of tag in and say, okay, Otherwise, you really just need to do you. Not enough people doing them. They're trying to do somebody else. And not in the good way. I don't think it's acceptable. I'm going to keep saying that. I do not think it is acceptable. You know, spit your game, talk your shit, right? But not everybody has the same boundaries or rules, right? That's lost on people sometimes. They are so used to the way that they can talk to people. They'll meet people they don't know. They think they can talk to them like that, and then it leads to a very bad place. And I'm also that type of person that will tell you right now, don't walk around in life being a tough guy. But you can't not have that tough guy in you. Not the guy who tries to talk his way out of a situation, but the guy who knows when it's time to step up. I'm never the type of person to incite violence, but I think everybody at one point or another defends themselves. It happens. Nothing wrong with taking that opportunity to safely dismantle a threat. And that's the thing a lot of you dumb fucks aren't paying attention to. When I see these fight videos on X or wherever they get posted, why are you fighting on the fucking concrete? Why are you haymakering these motherfuckers and just letting their melon bounce off of that black tar? It's not heroin. That's not the way they should be falling down and passing out. Especially when 90% of the fucking time I see you right next to grass and it's like, what, the grass? The grass didn't seem like a better option? Because you could be killing motherfuckers like this, causing permanent brain damage. I don't know if that's the goal. When people get so angry, they don't think these situations out, the consequences of, even if you do rock this person's shit, again, then what? What then? When you get out of the maze, little rat, what are you gonna do then? Oh, whoops. Oh, I guess I'm gonna go back for the cheese. Too late, dumb fuck. You've already escaped. And they're going for the rat poison. They don't even want to put you back in the cage. They're like, oh no, let's just get rid of this one. He's doing too much. It really is that fucking simple sometimes. My goal isn't to scare anybody. I'm not trying to put the fear of God into no one. But you should be considerate with your actions every single day. If you're going to spend a long time in a community, it's got to be tough to not know anybody. You can't chameleon without being able to interact and socialize. The phone doesn't cure that. That's one thing I've been grateful for. Anytime, no matter how good or bad the job was, anybody that I've ever had to work with, for the most part, I could talk to. Yeah, you get a stubborn piece of shit once in a while, but we all do. That's the thing that you get better at when you get older. You start to realize that happens at every single place you go to, and it is a luck of the draw what position of power they occupy, how they can affect your life, and what you are willing to put up with. There's just too much shit that I keep seeing every single day where I don't even know what to focus my crosshairs on, right? Not that I'm trying to be a bombardier, but really, I don't understand the craziness of some of this shit. I had a couple things I wanted to talk about. You guys see that video of Trump? And I'm not even gonna preface it. For a second I thought about it, but fuck it, I'm just gonna roll into it, because I don't like explaining myself. I shouldn't have to explain myself on my own show. But this fucking video of Trump, he's talking to this reporter. Maybe it was about Argentina, I don't know. But they were just talking about some deal they were making. And he's like, yeah, and you want to know why? Because he realized they don't want to fuck with the United States. Good night, everybody! And he did it in this way that's like he was closing out Saturday Night Live. It was just this perfect fucking, the cherry on the cake was just the good night, everybody! And like he wasn't gonna, the mic drop right after he said that. And I mean, maybe he is in the Epstein files. Maybe he does have cancer. I don't know what's up with that guy. Maybe it's all true, right? But he's arguably one of the funniest working comedians of our time. I mean, there's just no fucking way. We can't forget that this is the guy who had Tony do the Puerto Rican joke that threw everybody in an uproar, still won. Did the rounds with comedians, interviews. It's mind-blowing when he does this kind of shit. Because I don't have to have an opinion on whether I like it or not. But objectively, can I talk about, is it funny? Oh yeah. And it shouldn't make anybody mad, because it is funny. When he does this weird shit, it is absolutely funny. I mean, tell me that it isn't. Like, you can't. I mean, the guy is just fucking... He does not give a fuck right now. The government has been shut down for a while. And he's just doing his thing. Anybody who's on a benefit program or struggling, I feel bad what you're going through right now. Some of the weakest people in our country shouldn't be suffering. That was never part of the plan. I don't ever want to take sides when it comes to this politics bullshit. I'm not above any of it, right? But I don't have to participate. I can have my own opinions and, like Hillary said, have a public and a private opinion. But bottom line is that I just don't want to participate. My participation, in my heart, it wouldn't feel authentic. I don't feel that I would be represented equally, right? And I get it, when you try to talk to people about that, they don't want to hear it. You know, they have their own opinions, but I'm just not interested a lot of the time. I have other things that I have to focus on. Even now, it's hard to find time for myself to do this kind of shit. That's a big reason why the podcast hasn't been weekly like it used to be. I had time allocated. This last month, I've kind of been crushing it out. I have a lot planned, and I can't change those plans. It's not in the cards. Skankfest is going to be legendary. The lineup is just unbelievable. If you guys are going, come say what up to me. Not afraid to say hello to anybody. I doubt that I'm going to have anybody come say hello, but it'd be cool if I did. I'm going to be having a blast. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure everything goes smooth. I'm an all hands on deck type of person. And it's just gonna fucking be legendary. New Orleans, baby. Worst case scenario, though. I go to New Orleans for the first time. I need a little vacation. I need to get out of this fucking state. It's not a terrible, terrible, terrible place, but I don't know. A lot of people flocking here. A lot of people with their money coming here, and all these stupid kids around me. You see them selling out, and the consequences of that. Just everything's getting too expensive. Nobody wants to talk about it, not really. And the whole eggs is $20 a carton thing. That's not really happening anymore. There's been somewhat of a stabilization, but truthfully, it hasn't been easy for anybody this year. I'd like to say that we're on the horizon of hope, but I don't want to, play Nostradamus and have these predictions and prophecies that don't come true. It was crazy that the other day I saw gas drop like 30 cents. That surprised me. I haven't seen gas that low in a minute. I don't know if it's going to stay that way. And it sucks because I had just pretty much filled up, so I had no reason to go and get a little more gas. And I couldn't hold out. I was already on E, and I'm not the type of guy who just puts a little bit in at a time. I like to fill up and be fucking done with it. Peace of mind, right? But that's the cost of living when you're doing the peace of mind route. It's got to be water off a duck's back. So I can't let shit like that frustrate me. I mean, tomorrow I'll be missing out on an opportunity. Because even though I like to do these episodes on Saturdays, yeah, this episode's being recorded on a Sunday. And I think 2 weeks ago, we released on a Sunday, even though I had recorded on a Saturday. I was just too fucking lazy to upload it, guys. I'm gonna be very honest with you. If you haven't read the description for this pod, it's low effort yapping. I'm basically trying to be too lazy to try, but just in podcast form. Because I don't want to make hit pieces on the going-ons of the comedy world. That's kind of his lane. I respect it. He gets it right like 90 to 95% of the time. And it is cool that he is so notable. His presence has been referenced in other cultural media and shit. It's just funny. Yeah, shout out to Too Lazy. He's one of the good ones, dude. But, yeah, it's just, I gotta have time. I don't even think I'm gonna do a premium. Maybe I'll do one. I just don't have any planned shit, you know? Haven't been thinking about it like that. I was glad to finally deliver on my promise, though, for a premium, but even then, you know, it's there if you want to enjoy it. It was a good talk. That episode is the one that is selected for the $1 premium. You don't have to pay $1 million to hear that episode. It's legitimately $1 on YouTube or on Patreon, believe it or not. I did fix that. Somehow I was able to do a $1 membership option. So I was like, well, fuck yeah. So it is up to you. If you want to check out that bonus content I do have, and maybe it'll inspire me to double down a little more with extra bonus content. It's patreon.com/thisiscomedy. Now, I did finally, I know I'm late as fuck on this, but I've just gotten sick and tired of people talking about it enough. I got around to listening to the entire Elephant Graveyard video, the most recent one that he did that people are circulating. You know, the doomsday, anti-reality doomsday cult shit. Look, I'm gonna be very honest. As far as entertainment goes, loved it. I thought it was a great listen to get pulled into this thing where some of the points were bullshit, but then there would be some truth thrown into this muck of trickery. And I did appreciate the way that he connected the dots. At the end of the day, though, this guy has been making these kind of videos for a while. You can argue as much as you want that Rogan's not funny or he's this or that. You know, he Mencia'd the podcast idea and became one of the most successful with it. The reason why people like Rogan, I hate to bring anybody down, because I'm not a Rogan apologist, I'm just going to be real about the shit. People like Rogan because of the way he projects himself. Whether or not that is a real persona, I'm telling you that the guy he has been and become over the entire Joe Rogan arc, he's a satisfying feeling for people and kind of a safe space. I don't know how else to explain it. He's familiar. We've lost a lot of legends of familiarity, as time goes on, there's different people that randomly get chosen to step into these places and fill the voids. Whether you like it or not, he has become one of them. Now, you of course can argue that he's become a mouthpiece for certain types of conversations that happen, because every time someone comes on, they find an interesting way about 40 minutes into the pod to talk about what they really have been holding their breath about for 39 minutes and 59 seconds while they entertain Joe's stupid bullshit and cigar lighting and chuckling. And it's just an advertisement for whatever agenda they're pushing. You know, reading from a script, and that's in between this message is brought to you by AG1. Do you want your brain to work really good? Like, oh my god, I do. My brain is so, good, dude. And when I take AG1, it makes it even gooder. Like, the goodest it could possibly be. So, use my code AG LMNOP QRSTUV ABC. I don't even know how to do it by. And you'll get 1% off of a year's subscription. You gotta try it. It's my go-to. Why do you think my head is so perfect? Buy it now. And it's just, a lot of it is an ad. I think that's what people are getting sick of with podcasts, because there was a time where people felt like there was this breakaway. I'm not talking about a civilization or anything, but there was a breakaway from the norm where you could kind of do something a little funky, a little different. And I know that the people who preferred when it was more low-key are mad now because their secret slice has blown up. But this is going to happen to all the podcasts that right now don't have the most major of a buzz, but they do relatively well if you pay attention to the algorithm. I mean, I've talked about them in the past, but Lemon Party and Chubby Behemoth, these are the kind of pods that they're already on a successful path. They already make money. And I mean, what Nick Mullen was able to do with Adam Friedland, Adam's set for life now. He made Adam into what he is. I hate to put it that way, because I get it, Adam. You had it in you. But I don't think you had the confidence until Nick really stuck with you after the whole separation of Cumtown. Which, again, I still hope you guys come back and do something together. It'd be a real shame if, it's just like a once-in-a-while thing. You guys hang out and talk for an hour. Maybe that would be enough, but selfishly, yeah, I hope you guys do like a Cheech and Chong or a Key and Peele type deal. Just something. Don't fade out. Not like that. But all these guys, eventually, you have no idea in 10 years who the next Joe Rogan is going to be. Because, let's be honest, Joe doesn't have another 2,000 episodes in him. Let that shit sink in. 2,000. He has over 2,000 right now. You think he's going to do another 2,000? Look at how long it took him to get to this point. Go back and watch some of the earliest episodes, and you'll see how young that motherfucker looks, and look at him now. He's got enough money. He doesn't need the pod. He does the pod because he's interested in talking to people. It's not even really about being in the spotlight. I think if he went down to like 100K views every video, he wouldn't even give a fuck. I think he'd keep doing it. Part of me wishes Joe would start interviewing some of those people he's afraid to bring on, like Sam Hyde. I still don't know why Nick Mullen hasn't been on. It seems very strange that he's distanced himself from, certain pockets of the community where when he had every opportunity to try and court these people or help their success, put them in better positions, it just wasn't something that happened. Or who knows, maybe Nick Mullen was like, I don't want to do Joe Rogan, but thanks for the offer. Maybe he said no, maybe he's been offered and that's why. Joe did make it sound like the reason Sam wasn't on, though, was because he's too wild, or whatever that fucking comment was. But I mean, Sam and Nick used to joke, just, what, on the back of that truck, right? I think it was a truck. A little stoned, forgive me. They used to joke about how, if they could just get on Joe Rogan, how it would change their life. Not even serious, just saying it as a joke. And now every time he posts an episode of the Sam Hyde Show, it gets insane views. And that's just something to be insanely proud of. Like, I don't mean I'm proud of him. I'm just saying, like, I celebrate that shit. He earned it, he worked hard for it, he was shunned from many circles where he trusted people and they just let him down. And he developed himself in such a way that he's really formidable, and I think that's why most people feel uncomfortable around him. It's just the way that he presents himself, and it's like, who knows, he could probably throw me off guard too. I'm not going to act like him and I would be best friends. All these comedians could hate me, but it wouldn't really change the way I feel about them or their content. I'm just being honest. Like, all the work that you've done and put out there, I'm still going to love and appreciate it the same way. There's too many grifters out here, and that's part of the reason why I try to not interact too much. I mean, I've seen opportunities where people you'd never expect, people who are just, I don't want to say they don't have anything going on for them, because that's disparaging, but you get what I mean. Like, he's picked random people to go on Fish Tank. He posts phone numbers where people can call in and have a little spotlight time. And there are people who give you avenues to try and empower yourself. Even Kill Tony is that. Kill Tony is an opportunity for, regardless of what Elephant Graveyard thinks, it is an opportunity for you to be a part of that moment. If you get pulled in that fucking bucket and you have a solid minute, you know, I understand that all the people from America's Got Talent were not successful and didn't have long careers forever, number one on the charts. That's because of how people consume music. It has nothing to do with the individuals and if people aren't consistent with their craft, or they were only being curated in a way, I mean, the fall off happens. I'm sorry, but some people don't have it forever. Some people only have it for a little while. That shit definitely happens. I don't want that to discourage anybody from trying. I'm just being very honest that you can think whatever the fuck you want, but at the end of the day, it's not rational to assume anything anymore. Not that, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting that at any point you should just be wandering around in the dark. It's more so that the times have changed and the approach has to evolve now. If you don't, you're never really going to feel like you're going to get off the ground. That's a tough feeling to digest for anybody. If you don't think I've had to face up to my bullshit more than once in my life, you're out of your fucking mind, I'll tell you right now. Mr. Big Shot Me has had to humble himself numerous times. You have to start all over and reinvent yourself, and you know, some people never move out of their state. I've moved all around. I don't want to say every state, but like, I've been around from coast to coast. And that's a good fucking feeling, dude. Knowing that you've got around. I've driven this whole fucking state one way. Me, not like as a ride. I'm not talking about rides and visit. Me. More people have been able to go a lot more. Good for you. You've had more time, more money, more opportunity. You're empowered. Good for you. You don't gotta rub it in anybody's fucking face. That's not the point of life. Shut your fucking hole. I'm making a point here. I've gotten outside of my bubble. I picked it all up. went somewhere else, almost failed, and then succeeded and had more opportunity than I ever would have had if I would have stayed where I was. And sometimes it was tough or scary, but I made it out okay. And I think that's what I want anybody to take away, just in general, whether it's from my yapping or if I make you laugh, whatever it is. Just know that you don't have to stunt yourself. There's plenty out there for you to go and get. Don't sit around and think that, oh, well, I have to be like this because... No, you don't. Don't let one motherfucker tell you that you're this, or... I do endorse that philosophy of if you got hundreds of people telling you that you're an asshole, yeah, you're probably an asshole and need to change your behavior. But in general, case by case, you gotta know when one person is just trying to make trouble for you. And that doesn't always mean you'll succeed. You can get somebody else and it doesn't work. But sometimes if you try enough, you get where you need to go. I've had that plenty of time. We talked about it before with the phone company shit. They told me my phone wasn't gonna work. Guess what, bitch? I'm still on that phone company with 5 bars getting fast fucking data when they told me my shit wasn't compatible. Or they thought it wasn't because they didn't actually know. They're just spitting bullshit. Trying to be confident when they say it. And why? Why do people want to get paid to be stupid and wrong? Isn't that such a weird fucking feeling? To be stupid and wrong. Not that people are stupid, but to be stupid and be wrong about things. It's just as easy to actually learn and figure it out. I know things can be daunting or confusing, but if you don't understand, ask. Ask questions until you understand. Keep going through the scenario until you understand. That's all it is. Fuck, man. Chutes and ladders, baby. Now, I think we've been Pac-Manning out quite a bit, and I do like cutting these episodes just a teeny bit shy of the hour. Thanks if you've been rocking with me. Thanks for everybody who's been joining the channel. I really hope, even if it's just some free members, come hang out on the Patreon. I want to just grow that. It'd be nice to have some people to talk to about some of this shit. Give me some ideas of things that you might want me to talk about, because I am kind of going for this, last week with John Oliver type vibe. It's more of that shit, just discussions in general and trying to have a good time. So appreciate everybody who's been tuning in, and yeah, we will catch you guys next time.